What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by two special guests from Prague over in the Czech Republic, Martin and Victor of MyQ. How are we doing today, guys?
Hi, Andy. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us today. Last time I saw you guys was maybe about 6 weeks ago, coming up on almost 2 months. You had a really nice show out in Prague, your big annual showtime. Before we get to that, I think maybe we take a moment. We can have you guys introduce yourselves and then maybe give us sort of some background on who is MyQ. Tell us a little bit about the company and what do you do and where did you come from?
Okay. So my name is Martin Janus, and I'm CEO of MyQ. And since you were here during the celebration of 30 years in print industry, you could learn a lot about us. But my short history is that I started in the distributing company of printers in Czech Republic. And then we shortly developed MyQ solution just in the middle of those 30 years decade. And after that we launched it. The first purpose was just the Czech market, but very soon we received a lot of interest from abroad, and that's why we started to distribute it over the world through our partners. And as you mentioned, a couple of weeks ago, we celebrated together with 300 people here in Prague those 3 decades in printing industry.
Yeah, it was quite a party,
Yeah.
quite an event. It was excellent. And Victor, a little bit about you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, my background is actually way different than Martin's. Just a few years ago, I had nothing in common with this industry, so I'm pretty new to it. So my background is actually from sports. I used to play hockey professionally for many years. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, I had to quit due to some injuries and multiple surgeries. And now I'm here in MyQ in print industry. That was the second path of my life. And I'm really glad that I'm here because I feel the vision that sits in this company and the mission that it has, and it's been great so far. So as I said, I used to be a professional athlete. Of course, then once I quit it, I went back to my studies. I studied in UK for many years at a local university. Then I went back to Prague and I started to think like, okay, so which industry am I gonna tap into right now? And then I met with Martin, and it's been clear from the second that we met that I'm just gonna join this company and try to build on that vision that he has, because I was fascinated by it. So now I'm here for, I think it's been almost a year.
1 year, yeah.
Or it was 1 year. This is my anniversary.
Congratulations.
So
1 year for you,
yeah.
30 for you. Not bad.
Exactly. So they had showtime to celebrate 30 years, but I had no showtime for my first year. So yeah, we will change that.
Well,
So,
when you've got
yeah,
29 more years to go until you get a party like that, and that was quite a party. It was just a wonderful event. It was basically 2 days. I'll kind of give a little overview and maybe I'll share my screen out if I can do that without messing things up too much. But we'll talk about the event. You had people from all over the world were there, right? So this was you, Martin, kicking it off, and you had executives from your partner companies from all over Europe, Kyocera there, and just you threw out all the stuff. And this was actually part of the event was in a movie theater, but the first part of the event was in your offices, and maybe we'll get to some of those pictures as well. But tell us a little bit about the event, the couple of days that you plan. This is something you do on a annual basis, right? But maybe not quite as big as you did this year because of the celebration. So Martin, why don't you tell us about the day that we had?
Yeah, I can tell you the story about the showtime, because a couple of years ago, I saw always the team stressed every 3 months when they wanted to present their work, and since the team was bigger and bigger, and the room is not that flexible, so there were a lot of people, sitting or standing in the room and watching some sometimes unprofessional presentations or whatever, because everybody was stressed with this presentation, etc., etc. And then we came with the idea that we could make it maybe more comfortable, and we started to do that in the cinema. So let's say 3 or 4 times per year we tried to do that, and we started internally. So we did a lot of showtimes, just for our employees and colleagues. And sooner or later we found that the content is really it could really resonate also to our partners or some VIP customers. So we started to invite some partners or guests, let's say. But this time it was really special because we wanted to celebrate those 30 years in print industry. And then we decided for the first time in our history that we would like to invite such a big group of people. So it was really, we were really stressed if we can handle that conference just in the Prague.
Well, look at it.
Everybody will accept the invitation in the world, which is impacted with a lot of things and stresses around us. And yeah, you could see the progress. So I think we somehow managed that, even if in the middle of the situation when Prague started to host EU. So all the hotels were booked, all the restaurants were full, etc., etc. So we needed to be really flexible, but we somehow managed that, and I think that we delivered what we wanted to deliver.
I'd say it was just. It was spectacular. It was even if we had just gone and done the meetings at your offices, it was really a nice day. But then that whole afternoon in the theater and just taking the time to go back through your 30 years and all the people involved. And what I was most impressed with was just the number of partners there that you had. Like you said, it was 300 people. It was from 40 plus countries, I think is what you had told us, or something, if I remember correctly. So just an incredible day and a really nice celebration. You guys, just a special time for you all. It sort of leads up to, and a lot of people watching the video on my side of the Atlantic are going to recognize one of the dealers, John Ekstrom. He's a big Sharp dealer, Kyocera dealer, I believe. And he came over to kind of, see what you're doing over there. He was in a lot of those pictures, and it was very nice to include him. But, what I'm leading to is you're making, you're ramping up your efforts in the US, right? So, part of this call, we want to kind of introduce Victor, I think, to our market as, he may be in Prague right now, but he's coming over. Where are you going to be living, Victor? What state? Do you know any of that yet? And what's the plan for the US?
Well, it's still being discussed. Our branch is actually based in Florida, so this is probably the location that I'll be traveling to more often right now. Actually, I just came back from Florida to Prague like 3 days ago, so I spent 2 or 3 weeks there. But yeah, it's still being discussed whether I should move straight to Florida or somewhere else. It will depend where I'm needed and where can I actually develop the business or build some relationship with our partners, because as you said, we are making huge changes, strategic changes to our American operations. And this call was not only to introduce me as the new vice president for Americas, but also for me to introduce my another colleague, Robert, who was appointed as business development director for America. So we both are taking the responsibility for the US operations. And just a quick story that happened in the US, because I spent there 3 weeks, as I said. I see a huge potential in there, and I really mean it. I know that all of other people in these podcast videos and articles are saying potential, but they have no information to back it up, actually. So those are just some abstract information. But when I was there, as you probably know, me and Robert, we established Team 42 department here in headquarters, and we are focusing on vertical analysis. So we did the same work in Florida, and once we were staying on the street and just waiting for Uber to get back to our hotel, one guy came to us, just a random person, and he started to talk to us, and he was like, "Where do you work?" I was like, "My Q." "Okay, what do you do?" So I showed him our products, and he was like, "Are you joking?" I was like, "No, these are our products." And he was like, well, I need it. How come I didn't know about it? Like, this is amazing. So Mikey Roger is actually being sold on the street in the US. So this is the potential that we see there. And I was so fascinated by it, because you will not see such stories here in Europe, because the mindset is a little different here. And I'm really glad that I could be the one to actually build those relationships and build the business in the US, because I really love the mindset of American people. And so I just can't wait to move to Florida and start to, implement a lot of strategies that we have here in headquarters.
Well, you're definitely moving to a good area. There's a lot of great dealers down there, and certainly there are plenty of opportunities for you guys as you expand your operation. I know you're a very strong partner in the U.S. with Kyocera. You have moved that into some other. You've built on that with some other OEMs. HP is a big partner of yours over here as well. Tell me about the other partnerships and where do you see that going forward? How's that working for you here?
Yeah, I would say that we at first needed to analyze, where we can focus on. And when we passed some analysis and the negotiations this year, we basically prepared the ground for the expansion in the next year. As you mentioned, we started in US, especially with Kyocera. It was our first partner who provided us the sales network where we launched our product MyQX. And in last years, we found a lot of interest from other brands and other dealers as well. So that's why we started to negotiate directly with the OEMs, and we already passed some progress. So with some of those, we should be very active in the next years, especially because of our new product, Mikey Roger, because this is something which now resonates with a lot of OEMs and a lot of partners. It's something which was created just for this time and for the future, and it reflects all the trends which are around us. So that's why when we were not so successful with MyQX, even if we offered all the best what we have, the resistance of the dealers and OEMs were so high. So if you sell something and you are successful, you probably don't want to hear about something which could be maybe more successful because you are already successful. But if you have something more, if you have something new which is not existing on the market, then you can open the door, and then probably you can complete or sell the whole portfolio, because then it's much more easier for the partner, to sell all the products, because it's the same ecosystem, same philosophy, same training, same support. So this is what is happening right now, and especially because of our expansion of our team, we will be much more flexible and we will be able to provide a better support and higher visibility on the market. So I think it was really appreciated by the partners, and I hope and believe that it will be really visible next year.
So speaking of these trends, where do you see things going in the U.S. market, globally? What are some of these trends that you just sort of mentioned that I think may play to MyQ's strengths, especially the new Roger solution that you guys announced at the event that I was at?
Yeah, so you probably know, or our partners probably know, that currently we have two products. One is basically the product with which we started 15 years ago. It's MyQX, on-premise product, major product with tons of functions. But during the pandemic, we were locked at home, and we found that it's not the best product, to be used in such a new situation, because at home or when you are traveling, you need something more. You need something which is traveling with you, basically. So that's why we started to think, okay, so what we can do, and cloud was the answer. So we finalized basically the vision during the pandemic, when we were sitting at home and thinking what we need to develop to use it, to be able to use it, at home, because we want to use our products, right? Not only in the office. So Mikey Roger was born. It was launched like a digital workplace assistant, as you probably saw. I think you came with a really nice feedback after the launch. And you woke up, 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to saw it during the Sunday or something like this. Of course. So such an influencer, presented. It was awesome for us. But back to this. So we finished the vision, and we wanted to provide the product which could be used, everywhere, anytime, which could keep your business continuity, which could increase the resilience and flexibility for the whole company and their people, and even maybe for your private usage, because this is something also what was missing in our strategy, that we were focused only on B2B markets, or let's say commercial market. But there are plenty of people who probably want to scan or want to do something better with their documents at home, and this is exactly what Mikey Roger can offer them. So we came with this vision, and then pandemic showed us, the
made it more important, even more.
Of the disruption. So you can see now that the true digital, let's say, transformation or initiatives were really triggered by the pandemic, because nobody could communicate without online services. This was the clear trend, which we were talking about many years ago before, but during the pandemic, it was the only way how to communicate. So that's why we started to communicate through the camera. We started to see that probably we don't need to travel so much, because we can handle a lot of meetings online, etc., etc. So one trend was set up by the pandemic. And then we saw the results. So the chips issues and later the logistics shortages. So up to now, it's not possible to buy the printer when you need it, because it's simply not produced, or it's not available. So you need to purchase probably some compromise, or you need to wait a couple of months, sometimes even 1 year, for a new car, for a new printer, for some equipment. This is something which was not here. I never saw such a long queue for everything. So this is definitely new trend. Then other thing is that I think when I've stepped in the printing industry, I've been listening to the trends that printer volume will would decline next year and next decade and whatever, and in 90s probably we would not print at all, and we are still printing, right? But the truth is that during the pandemic it really changed, because since we were really connected online, since public organizations started to accept emails instead of papers, because it was the only chance how to communicate with people. So as I told, the digital transformation was really triggered, and I really believe that print volume will now decline and will continue to decline, because there is no reason to go back to the situation before the pandemic, because we learned that it's possible to live without the paper. So I don't think that paper will disappear, but the trend is definitely there. And what else? We started to see also a new generation, right? That when I saw my father, let's say, and when I was educated, the principle was that you should have a good job, you should have some money, in your banking account. Then you probably should buy your house or car or whatever, because when you own such a property, it's good when the situation is hard. So when you lose the job, you can survive if you have the house or car or whatever. But this is dramatically changing, because the new generation is much more, let's say, flexible and open, and also they found that it's easier to rent whatever they want and use it just when they really want to use it. Yes. And finally, it's it's sure that it's more efficient, right? Because why to have the scooter, why to purchase the scooter when the scooter will be always at home and you will need it in other place. So it's much more better to use it and share it when you really want to travel from your restaurant to another bar. and I think, and I really believe that those trends around us will inspire, many industries. And we are working now on a very big surprise, which we would like to launch next year. Probably we will speak later in this call, which will be definitely based on those trends and which will reflect especially this trend that people don't want to own things; they want to use the things.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So you're playing into a bunch of different areas, right? And you're helping. I mean, we all agree, I think, that print volume is going to go down, but it's changing. You mentioned the remote workers. People are now, spending a lot more time at home. I think a lot of people are going to get printers at home. Maybe they won't print as much as they did at the office, but they'll still print a little. But to that point, they'll need management of those devices, right? They'll need security. For sure, they'll need security, but then they'll need to make sure that these devices fit in with their workflow. Scanning, obviously, is another big piece. That's actually one of the things I think you guys have that's unique to you, if I remember correctly. We work with a lot of print management companies. There's a lot of them out there. They all do. A lot of them do many things good. What is it that you guys do, I think, that you would say makes you stand out? What is it about MyQ that is kind of makes you special?
If we look at our portfolio, I would start with the mission of this company. Yeah. And in the last years, we defined a very clear mission, which is very different to let's say other companies. And we ended up with the claim to respect people, to be people-centric. Yeah.
Your shirts, by the way, the shirts that you're wearing, and I think the back of them too. Yep, show that. That's just awesome. That's just awesome. Here's the back of my hat too, by the way. I promised I would show that.
Okay,
I got my MyQ hat on. But no, I love those shirts. And everyone, if you're thinking back, if everyone thinks back to when I was showing those photos from the event, your whole staff was wearing them. And I just thought that was really, they were, first of all, they were cool because they were black and everyone looked really sharp in them. And but then when you really looked at what they said, the 30 and then all the little, in the little red symbols in between, it was a really clever, they were very nice. And then your messaging, I think, for our industry, for any company, is very, very good. So continue, please.
Yeah. I can definitely tell you one fresh feedback. I just returned from a great event which was created by IDC in London, and there were a short recap of all the things and introduction to our future. And the content was basically based on the people-centric things. So IDC basically told us that everything what we will do in the office will be people-centric, not only customer-centric or product-centric, but people-centric, because people need to like to work, need to go, to collaborate, etc. So probably the main principle of the office will change in the next years, and I totally agree with that. But back to the claim, respect people. So how we found that? When we started with MyQ 15 years ago, the market was focused basically just on two simple things: to save money, let's say to reduce printing volume, to save some costs around the printing, and so to restrict people, to print, etc., to make it manageable, and also, it was somehow connected with the environment. So if you print less, then you can save let's say the impact, to the environment. But those topics resonated to financial directors, maybe HR, the owners, etc., which was nice. But when you install the product in the company, you started to compete with the biggest department in the company. It's the users, right? Because if somebody is only restricted, if somebody is only monitored, basically he can't love the product. Why I should be happy in the company where I'm monitored and restricted and whatever. So maybe 15 years ago it worked, but the situation dramatically changed in the last year. So if you want to hire somebody, you need to provide extra benefits. For example, our company 1 year ago started with unlimited vacation. Yeah, we were inspired by Netflix, so we didn't invent something very new, but we wanted to provide, if we came with some benefit, we want to have the benefit which will really resonate. So then we found that the biggest department, users, would like to have some benefits from us as well. Otherwise, they couldn't adapt, or adopt our system. And that's why we came with the personalization. So we started, to provide them the things they really want to use. So if you imagine the panel of the machine, in the past, there were plenty of functions, to be able to do everything what is requested by the whole team or whole company, but it's too much. If you have your mobile phone, you could have there millions of applications, but you probably selected just hundreds of those you really want to use, and you don't care about the others.
Right.
So the same we can provide now through the operational panel. So when you authorize yourself, at first your documents and the operation is safe. At second, your operation panel is really yours. So you really see your workflows, your buttons. Yeah.
Yep. And you can make it look different. You can have different colors on it, I've noticed.
Yes.
Really customizable. Yes. So you can lay out the buttons anywhere you want them. And like to your point, you make sure that the functions that you rely on, that you use regularly, are all right there for you. And then the ones that you don't need, sort of the way, like you said with your phone, if there's apps, you just don't use them. They're off to the side and they're out of your face. Yeah,
and that's basically the reason why we started to tell to our users that we want to produce the product which can save their time, because we can automate a lot of bureaucracy, and administrative tasks, and that's why they can focus on what they do best. So they can spend less time on MFP, and they can use their head and intelligence to produce much more better things than just standing in the queue. So this is how we developed the mission. And that's why we ended with this claim, respect people, because this is really something which is sustainable. Everybody can understand that. And if you are able to make happy the biggest department, users, then financial director and owner will be also happy, because his company is happy. And that's our mission.
I love it. I think everybody could use a dose of gratefulness and being humble. I think that's a good message. This was great. I appreciate you guys taking time to come on the show today and chat with us. Martin, always, nice to see you, and congratulations on 30 years. Victor, very nice to meet you. And we look forward to seeing you at some events, seeing you at some dealers, and working with you as you guys continue to increase your presence here in the US. Any last messages? Martin, why don't we start with you, and then Victor, we'll let you finish.
Yeah, so let's unveil a little bit the surprise we would like to launch next year. And I already told you something about the shared economy, but the main word which will be very popular next year will be print sharing. And this is the initiative we are working on. And just to describe what is behind that. So for more than 15 years, we spent the time, to move the local printers to the corridor. We secure them. We started to use them more efficiently, etc., etc. But it was always, available just for the concrete company and their users or employees. But since the print volume is declining, since there are many logistic issues, since probably it's not so efficient to print low volume on the device you own, since a lot of people don't want to own devices, we found that it's a right time, to use the latest technology, the cloud technology, which will allow us to move the device from the corridor or from the home, from all houses to the reception or to some public places where you can use it when you really want to print. Because when you want to scan, you can use even just your mobile phone with our MyQ application, and this will be the key answer, to all those trends. Because if the print volume is low, we can collect all the low volumes, to such a device. Then we can make it again big and efficient, to install capable and let's say how to say, much more reliable machine. You don't need to be in the stress if you are out of the toner, or if your device is broken, because if one device is not working, you can simply authorize yourself on another device and finish your printing or scanning tasks. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the reach to the printer, you can do the scanning by your mobile. So you will really receive the flexibility, and we will make all the people more happy than they are today, I guess. And one typical example, Uber, everybody knows this great company. They didn't invent better taxi driver or taxi car. They just connected people who wanted to travel with those who could offer the traveling, and they just connect them in a better platform and provide better services like online payments, etc., etc. So nobody could cheat them anymore, etc., etc. And this is exactly what we want to do with the printing market. So it's a big challenge. I think we will need a lot of help of our partners, but we can assure them that we can provide the best technology which is not existing on the market, and with our knowledge from all the markets, we can disrupt the market a lot.
Well, that's going to be exciting to watch. Print sharing is the phrase I will be looking for from you. Victor, how about you? What last message would you like to share before we wind up?
Yeah, I think Martin mentioned everything I want to say, because as you know, he likes to talk a lot. Sorry. But I don't know if we want to reveal anything more than that, but as Martin said, next year there will be a next product that you and they know about because you attended our showtime. And even sooner than that, there will be a completely new product with respect to print sharing. So just remember this phrase, because it will be a huge topic in next couple months. And I'm so glad that me and Robert, we will be responsible for implementing those products in the US market, working with such a great dealers and manufacturers in US. So I can't wait to join you guys there and work with you closely. And I hope it will be really soon. So that's the last message I want to have here.
Well, welcome. And I'm interested to see which NHL team you warm up to, possibly the Tampa Bay Lightning down there in Florida. But welcome, and we look forward to seeing you here. Martin, great seeing you again. Thank you guys again for coming on the show, and have a great rest of your week. Actually, you're knocking on the door of the weekend. I think as soon as we get off this call, hopefully you'll be able to enjoy some of those amazing Prague beers. And great seeing you again. Have a great rest of your year. We'll talk soon.
Thank you very much for having us, Andy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.